Back in action, folks. I hope you're doing well. I'm Don. This is Rockin' a Country. I am doing a gift request. Matt Galardo, the one and only Matt Galardo, wordsmith, fire medic division in Cleveland. Thank you for this gift, my friend. I don't know what you're getting me into here, as I never do, of course, but Mary Chapin Carpenter's song, Jubilee. I don't know the song, so let's just jam to it. I'll give you my thoughts here and there. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I usually stop the video once, sometimes twice, copyright reasons, and also because I can't remember, nobody can remember every thought they have in a 3 or 4 minute song and then just regurgitate those thoughts at the end. So that's how these things work. It's not a listening video, it's a reaction video, and that's what we're going to do. Here we go. Jubilee for what? That's pretty.
I can tell by the way you're walking that you don't want company. Well, I'll let you alone and I'll let you walk on, and in your own good time you'll be back where the sun can find you, under the wise wishing tree, and with all of them made we'll lie under the shade and call it a jubilee. And I can tell by the way you're talking that the past isn't letting you go. There's only so long you can take it all on, then the wrong's gotta be on its own. And when you're ready to leave it behind you, you look back and all that you'll see is the wreckage and rust that you left in the dust on your way to the Jubilee.
I don't know who wrote this, but this is freaking brilliant so far.
And I can tell by the way you're listening that you're still expecting to hear your name being called like a summons to all who have failed to account for the doubts and their fears. They can't add up to much without you. And so if it were just up to me, I'd take hold of your hand, saying, come hear the band play your song at the Jubilee.
There's a lot in that stanza, whatever you call it. Yeah, this is another Matt Galardo classic. I got my brain every which way till Tuesday, and it's only Monday.
And I can tell by the way you're searching for something you can't even name, that you haven't been able to come to the table, simply glad that you came. And when you feel like this, try to imagine that we're all like frail boats on the sea, just scanning the night for that great guiding light, announcing the Jubilee.
Yeah, I thought it might go in this direction.
Tell by the way you're standing, with your eyes filling with tears, that its habit alone keeps you turning for home, even though your home is right here, where the people who love you are gathered.
Yep.
Under the wise wishing tree, may we all be considered then straight on delivered down to the Jubilee. 'Cause the people who love you are waiting, and they'll wait just as long as need be. When we say those were halcyon days. We're talking about Jubilee.
It's such a pretty voice. This song, I mean, if I had to sum the song up, it would be contentment or lost contentment. We go through this world and we're kind of content being in the general area of something, but not committing to something fully or someone fully. That song started out that way, where she's just going to let him walk on by himself because she could see by the way he's walking, he wants to be by himself. I mean, when I saw the title Jubilee, I'm like, all right, what could this be about? Because you'll hear references to like the return of Christ, and then there's this great, the return, and then Jubilee is kind of like, can be like a spiritual theme like that. Not always. It could just be right here on earth. There's a Jubilee. There's a party going on in so-and-so's farm, and everybody's there with the live band, and they're roasting the pig and whatever. But this was definitely much deeper and broader than that, where it just seems like the guy is trying for more, and he's getting less and less and less. He thinks there's something else out there. I think he hasn't addressed his fears. I think that was a line in there where either he or we, it might have been generalized, but it applied to this gentleman, hadn't addressed his doubts. Was it doubts and fears or concerns and fears or what have you, and just kept on walking. The wise wishing tree, that one's got me puzzled. Not just the wishing tree. I bet they struggle to find the right word there, unless it's a common colloquialism that I've never heard, or expression that I've never heard before. It's an odd grouping of word. Wishing tree, I get that part of it, and they didn't want to leave it as just, a wishing tree, any old one. It had to be wise. So there were sort of biblical, spiritual themes in here, because wisdom is a theme that shows up a lot in the Hebrew and Christian texts. I'm not familiar with the Quran, so I can't speak to it, and then looking back, I mean, it was sort of like looking back at the end of the song, looking back at your life. You're going to want the invitation of the Jubilee. I mean, that sort of has that sort of like, do you measure up? Speaking from a Christian perspective, the general theme is, are you approved, to be in heaven or paradise here on earth or not? It's kind of like the prevailing thought. It's sort of like yes or no. But gorgeous voice, gorgeous instrumentation. Matt, you did it again, man. You just did it again. And I get so wrapped up in trying to figure out what thoughts, what parts of what song relate to what. Because in songwriting, too, just as in storytelling and screenwriting, and when you watch a movie, sometimes they'll start the movie in the beginning. Sometimes they'll start the movie in the end. And then you're like, well, in that 5 minutes of the ending that you saw, you're like, how did they get to there? Why is that guy hanging off that ledge? And they go back to the beginning, and they're developing the story to get you to where you understand it. And songwriters will do that too, where they don't do things chronologically per se. And that's part of a challenge when I'm trying to figure out a song that's written like this. Is this chronological? And there really wasn't a hardcore chronology involved in this. This was more ideological through, I don't know, temporality yeah. But it wasn't chronological. It was more conceptual. It was just talking about different parts, frames of mind through different parts of life. And I just get the idea that this guy was not willing to commit, and he was not content. It was a lost contentment. He could have been content, but some people are just too antsy to get to that next thing. All right, I'm going to rate that song, Matt. This is one of those ones where it's like poetry. Like you read it and you get a different meaning every single time you read it. This is just so open-ended, but it is tied into a given person's mindset. That could be your own, too. One of the things I look at, I'm like, oh my God, do I do that? Do I think that? Do I approach life like that? Is that going on in my life now? Did it used to? Is it a warning shot? I love that kind of stuff. So, oh boy. The number that blasted into my brain was a 9.1. And it might be much higher than that. I just would have to understand the song better. And I'm sure you folks will comment on it as well. So there you go. Matt, thank you again, my friend, for twisting my brain up. I love that. I absolutely love being challenged. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. It's just the nature of life. But I like the challenge. That's why I don't like pop music, because the lyrics are just so blasé, so cliche. It's boring. So there you go. Have a great day, folks. See you in another video. This is Matt Galardo's fault. And keep rocking the country.